Hi, this is Carl Potter, Certified Safety Professional, coming to you from my training center, Potter & Associates International. And today what we're going to talk about in this module, if you've seen my other videos, you see I talk about different things about safety, but the main thing is to realize that you can do every task, whether you're at home or at work or at play, if well-planned, a well-planned task can turn out without zero injuries. And I'm talking about zero injuries now. I'm not talking about, again, workplace injuries being OSHA recordables or anything, or maybe just needing a Band-Aid. I'm talking about planning it very well where there are no cuts, scrapes, or bruises or pulled muscles. And we talk about that in all of our work. But today what we're going to talk about is this: battery-powered tool safety. Battery-powered tool safety. Hey, you know what I'm talking about. This bad boy right here, for instance. Now, this is not one that has a lot of hazards with it, but one of the key factors to this one is we have different kind of battery-powered tools, not just the drills anymore. It used to be battery-powered screwdrivers, and I had one of those for a long time. It didn't work very well because the battery died pretty quick. But now we've got some pretty powerful stuff just with the screws. In fact, what we need to do is be wearing our safety glasses when we're operating this. So I'm going to put mine on because we're in a lab situation here, in a learning situation, but we always want to protect our hands in this. Now, one of the other things that you might realize is, again, this tool here this one's awesome. It's got a lot of tools with it. It's got a chuck. It's got the chuck that you can obviously take your tools in and out with, and then you can actually tighten it up and make sure that it's tight, and that doesn't pose a big hazard right there because you can use it without being injured. However, there are other tools that go along with this, like I said, that are hazardous. I mean, they've got a hazard with them. We don't think about it. One in particular is this little bad boy right here, and I love this tool. This is a good one. Oh, man, I tell you, this is the bad boy of bad boys right here. This thing, you can cut through walls, nails. You can do all kinds of stuff with it. And it comes with one of these little rascals here. And that's a saw blade. And some of them look pretty bad. I mean, you can cut big wood, metal, all kinds of things with it. And they come with different sizes. And we know about that. But to safely put this in here, we got to do something first, and that's this. We've got to take our battery, and this is basic lockout tagout, folks. I mean, we learn lockout tagout procedures at work, but we don't think about it in this. What we got to do is when we put that one in there and it's lock and load, it's ready to go, but without anything in it. See, it's guarded around here. You're not going to get your hand on it. However, let's say I need to change out the blade on this thing. Now, what have I got? A hazard. I just introduced a hazard to it because of this. So all I have to do, basic lockout tagout says, okay, here's what I do. I take the battery off. I have basically separated the tool or the circuit from the energy source, the electrical energy source, and I have a visual break. This is what we're looking for in lockout tagout, is a visual break. Something that says I can see it. Not a guess at it, I can see it with my eyes. Okay? And then I can demonstrate by pulling the trigger that it is no longer energized, and now I can put the tool, I can just put this right in here like this. Whoops, if I get it turned right, I can open this up, drop it in, and now I have the tool loaded, and see, I can check it with my hand because I'm no longer energized. Now, all I got to do, put it in, test it, and now I've got to be really careful because I've got a weapon now. I got something that is really hazardous to my health and possibly my co-workers if I get a little radical with it. So that's one of the things that we look at. So taking that battery out and not letting this rig sit around is a great idea. Don't let this sit around with the battery on it. Not good for the battery, but on the other side of that, it's sitting there like a loaded gun. So the other one that we have to really, and this is a great tool, I'm telling you, for remodeling or working around the shop, building like scaffoldings or anything like that on a construction site. This bad boy, really, I mean, this thing zings. But I'm telling you, here we go again. We lock and load, And guess what? We got a flesh-cutting monster right here. This bad boy would cut your finger off so fast. And all it's got to be is that we're starting to change this battery right here. Now, we got to change that, or take the battery out. We're going to change the saw blade, we got to change that saw blade. Now, guess what? Hey, it's not turning because it has no energy, because we have separated the energy from it. See, we have a visual separation. How easy is that? You know, we're not going to get anybody hurt doing this. So, one of the things that we don't realize is that technology, and I like to say, when technology meets human beings, we got a problem. Now, again, in my book, I Am Safe, I talk about this. There's a gap between us knowing and doing. So here's what you're going to do now. You're going to go out and you're going to not think about it any further, and you might run out and use this tool. Okay? So you go out and use this tool, and you forget to pull the battery, and then you get your finger cut, and then you go, yeah, Carl told me to pull the battery. Well, we've got to practice that. If you see somebody else out there on a site or at work, and they're doing some work, and they say, they're getting ready to do it, hey, take that battery out. In other words, leave the tool laying around, but without the battery. Around the house, the kids might pick it up. Yeah, it's child-proof. Look at this. It's supposed to be idiot-proof. You push this, the trigger won't work unless you're locked in. You know what? Kids figure this stuff out every time. So it's not necessarily child-proof unless that battery is away. It's not necessarily idiot-proof if you're out there and you lay it around, some idiot at work picks it up and starts using it who doesn't have any reason to be using it. So, what I encourage you to do is really look at this. Check all your power tools. Some of you, if you're in the utility industry, you may be using a crimping tool. Boy, you talk about great. Replace the MD6. The big old, you had to go up there, and I used to do this too. You use this tool and clamp with this MD6, and you really clamp down. And right here, you got rotator cuff problems later on, and rotator cuff surgery in the electric utility industry is huge. And the reason is because of that. Well, the technology came along and said, hey, we got some battery power now, we got some really good tools, let's build a tool where we can crimp, and it looks a lot like this if you hadn't seen one and you're not familiar. But it's a crimping tool, crimp electrical connections. But it's also a pinching hazard. If you're in there changing your dies and stuff, you need to be able to pull that battery, change your dies out, put it in. Same idea, same whole concept of safety. Safety is not that hard, and all we have to do is close that gap between the knowing and the doing. And now you know, because I've given you this. So, this is Carl Potter. Hope you make it a safe week, and I'll see you in the next training module.